my camera program updated, so I don't know when the fuck that happened, but apparently that happened because it's all different now, and I'm like, the fuck is this interface? But that's not what this is about. This is a video game vlog, and I wasn't gonna do a vlog at all today, and I don't even know if I'm gonna post this yet because I have to admit I'm a bit guilty about something. So this is going to be a review for South of Nowhere, and I'm gonna open up by saying I'm feeling pretty guilty about this review because I didn't love it the way I thought I would, and I've been kind of avoiding talking about South of Nowhere because when it came out last week, I was so excited for it, and there was a delay when it came out. Something had happened between the Sony store and them, and it was supposed to come out at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and something went absolutely haywire, and it didn't come like on the Sony store until I have no idea what time, but it was pretty late when it came out, and sorry, I gotta stretch my leg out. And I was just like, oh, okay. So it came out, and literally nobody was playing it, and I was like, the fuck? I thought this was gonna have more play than this. And finally, one lone guy, which, hold up, I think I don't have it listed. It's not on my thing, but let me see. Mr. Moosh was the only person that I saw who had played it. And looking on YouTube, there's only one other person that has played it. And I was just like, well, what the hell? So, since none of my regular, and I really didn't want commentary. I wanted to watch this, no commentary, but nobody I knew was playing it, so I had to take what I had to get. So I did watch Mr. Moosh's, Let's Play of it, and he was just excited as I was. And I want to go on and say why I feel guilty. I feel guilty about how I feel about South of Nowhere because I had actually been in communication with Reggie Studios via Twitter, and we had talked back and forth, and I kind of had that senpai notice me moment, like senpai noticed me, oh my god. So I feel it leaves me in this space where I feel guilty that I don't love it, but I don't know, because I'm reluctant to say it was a Husk kind of situation, and we all know, for me, when I say something's a Husk situation, Husk was a game that came out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and I was so brutally excited for it, and it was so terribly flawed and weird and not a good situation, and I was really kind of heartbroken that it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. So, and then that other game that came out last year, I forget what the name of it was, that left me kind of flat, and this left me a little flat. But before I get into what left me a little flat, let me just say, atmospherically speaking, it is on the most solid fucking ground that I have ever seen for an indie horror game. It has the atmosphere. Like, for atmosphere, you cannot, for an indie game, you can't beat it. It was times where I was legit like, oh my god, I can't look, and was genuinely afraid because the sounds were creepy, where you were was creepy, everything just had this creep factor about it. It was just like, oh my god, I can't, oh no, I can't look at that, oh my god. So, it was, atmospherically, it was sound. It was just beyond the atmosphere. It kind of went a little awry. So what happens is you kind of start off in Clarencaster in the forest, and the thing is, there's no cutscenes, which is fine, and you get really no backstory. If you didn't look into what was happening in South of Nowhere, like if you weren't like privy to that information and you just were like, oh, this looks pretty cool, I'll download this, you don't have the information that you need to know what is happening in the story. So if you don't know, the story is about, you are a man named Robert, and you are looking for your son in this forest, and this forest has a history of having people found dead. In fact, it was a bunch of children found dead in it, and a bunch of people, including police and rescue service folks, have gone missing in this horrifying, fucked up forest. So that is the backstory that you have, but you have to actually look on the page as to what the backstory is. I don't know if I necessarily agree with doing exposition via notes and stuff, or exposition via, like, yeah, usually in indie games, because you can't really afford to do a cutscene, or don't have the time to do a cutscene, or don't have the ability. I don't know what the case may be, but whatever the case may be, you don't do a formal cutscene. Usually you exposition people via like a shitload of notes that you find scattered around or something. And that does stuff to kind of immerse you in the plot. And if you don't know a backstory, it gives you some backstory as to what's happening. Unfortunately, there was zero of that in South of Nowhere. You're just kind of left in this. You start kind of dead dropped in this forest, and you're hearing all these creepy sounds and like creepiness, but you don't know why you're there. You're just kind of there. So that was a little problematic, and that was where I was. And see, because I had invested so much time in it, I was like, oh, okay, well, I know what's going on, so that's fine. But if you don't know, how can you know? So that was part one. Part two was when you're going through those caves and it was time's up. Was she worth it? Why did you hand out blowjobs or whatever it was? I can't remember all of it. Basically, when you're seeing all of this stuff, again, Robert is supposed to be a man with a sordid backstory. I would have loved to know what his sordid backstory was, and like why his son was so important to him. So, like, did his wife die? Did she kill herself after he's had all these affairs? Because apparently he was sticking his dick in everybody. So was like what was their relationship like? Why did it go south? Why did he feel the need to step out of his marriage and stick his dick in everybody? What was the backstory? How did their child affect their relationship, that again he felt the need to step out of his relationship and go stick his dick in everybody? That was, as a fan fiction author, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting ready to write a dickload of South of Nowhere fan fiction, and I don't have anything to go on to be able to write a fan fiction. So, because it seemed like real interesting, especially with all the neon lights, like, was she worth it? Home wrecker, unfaithful, stop sticking your dick in everybody. Like, I saw that on like a trailer. I was hooked. They had my ass fucking hooked, and they didn't get into it. I'm like, I was gonna write fan fiction. So now it's left me in a place where I can't even write fan fiction because I don't have enough information to come up with a backstory. So that, especially for my fan fiction side of my brain, just left me real sad. And I was really sad. Like, oh, god damn it. So there was that. There was no elaboration. There was no backstory. You did dropped into this world and you have nothing to go on and nothing to work with. Because I don't play horror games, as this has been well established at this point. I just watch it. I can't speak to gameplay, but again, atmospherically, solid ground. That's just where it kind of ends. As you're going through and you're solving all these puzzles, and there are a lot of puzzles, I have to hand my hats off to them. That there was a lot of puzzles in it, so you got to do a lot of thinking. And that one that corresponds to all the addresses, I guess that was all the women you were sticking your dick into. Like, those were some pretty interesting puzzles, so I can't complain about that. But there's this one part where you have to get a key out of a room, and there's this girl there. Who is she? She's just kind of there, and she can insta-kill you, but there's no backstory on who she is. Is she his wife? Who is she? What is she doing here? Why is she in this cave? Why is she trying to kill you? And it's not like, I could see if it was his wife, then they should have made the character look a little older, but it looked like a girl, like a young girl, not like super young, but like maybe about 12 to 14. She looked young. Who the hell is this woman or child trying to kill you? What does she have to do with anything? What, like, is she a friend of your son's? Is she like some like former love interest from when you were a kid? Again, I don't have enough information to move forward with to even surmise who she could humanly possibly be. So there is that, and I'm just like, who is she? And Mr. Moosh got killed by her because he was curious to see what she was about, and she ends up killing him, and he's like, oh. So it was weird. And then at the end, you have two endings, and one, you're just out in like some snowy mountainscape, and then the other, the girl is in a room, and she's like and it's like all these neon lights that say selfish and all this other stuff, and it's just like, I don't understand. Like, do you find your son in that snowy scape? I mean, I think on the back of the door it was like, welcome home, Dad, or something. But in the room where the scary girl is, it's just selfish and neon lights and like these monsters or whatever in that girl. It's really confusing, and there's no satisfactory resolution. But then again, when I think about it, how can it be a satisfactory resolution when you don't really have a backstory other than what is given to you when you like look for the information on the game itself? So I wanted to love it. I really did it. I feel so guilty. I know I shouldn't feel guilty. The onus is not on me. And I understand that, but I've been in contact with Red G Studios, and I just feel so guilty that I don't like it. I feel so bad. But this is their first game. And as I've said a few times, I don't think I could come up with a convincing horror game, period. Even with my weird fan fiction brain, I don't think I could come up with a horror game by myself. I really don't. The most that I can say if I came up with a horror game is, I always had this thing, if I did a horror game, the very first scenario, you would have to find your glasses. I usually, as y'all know, I wear glasses. Right now I have my contacts because I had to drive, and I refuse to drive anymore with wearing my glasses. I will always put my contacts on. This is just something post-accident. So if I don't have my contacts in and I'm wearing my glasses, everything that's not like right here is like blurry as fuck. So I always figured I always wanted to do a horror game where you can't find your glasses in the very first scenario, and it's all this creepiness around you and all this horror, and you gotta run away from something, and you can't really see, but you don't know what's safe and what's not. That's the only scenario that I've ever been able to come up with for a horror game, because that would scare the shit out of me. If I woke up in some nightmare landscape and I can't fucking see and can't find my damn glasses, I'm gonna sit down and either be killed because I'm crying hysterically, I can't see it, it's so fucking scary, or I'm just gonna be booking it like crazy. So, but that's as far as I've ever gotten with a horror game scenario. But I don't think I could come up with a plot for a horror game beyond that. So I don't know. I do see like glimmers of genius, because again, atmospherically, it was tight as hell. I was nervous. I was all like, I don't know, I'm going fucking down that hall. Don't go there. Oh my God, don't look. It's gonna be something fucked up. Atmospherically, it was tight. There are glimmers of genius there. I think maybe with a little more time, with a little more care, and a little more practice, I think they'll be like doing something with themselves. This was their first game, and honestly, I didn't hate it as much as I hated Husk. I just didn't love it as much as I wanted to. So, and again, like I said, I know the onus isn't on me for that, but I do feel really terribly guilty that I don't love it. So, I don't know. But I do see glimmers of good things to come, and I hope this wasn't too disparaging and I wasn't too mean. Trust me, this is one of the ones where I was like, I didn't love it, but I wasn't cruel, because the other two games, Husk and that other game, I forget what that was called, where the explosions were like, I hated that game. And that's got some negative, like, I got a lot of thumbs down on that. I don't give a shit. That game was fucked up and flawed, and it needed to stop. And then dude head explodes and comes busting out the window at the end. And I'm just sitting there like, what the actual fuck? am I watching? I actually didn't feel that way when I was watching South of Nowhere. Oh, and the other thing about South of Nowhere was it's only an hour, really. It's really short on top of everything. They did lower the price because it started out at $20 and then they lowered the price to like 15 or something. But other than that, I see good things. It's just this their first game, and I will actually, you get the rare Ashan pass. Not a lot of people get their pass. So just ask Husky and the other fucked up game from last year. Not a lot of people get their pass. So let's just hope Reggie Studios keeps it going and they learn from this experience and build on, better things to come. I still feel guilty though. So that is all I have, and I feel so bad, but it is what it is. So I'll see y'all around at another time. Later.